power to record. Alright, sweet beans. Alright, we're gonna turn down the music a little bit so you guys can hear my story. Alright, so this is my story. Today sucked. Just gonna start with that. Today sucked. It has been snowing for the last 3 days. As you would assume, the roads are all snowy and icy and crap. Alright? So today, this morning, we did a delivery out in the middle of nowhere on roads that hadn't even been plowed or touched in days. So that was the first time I almost died. We were going down a slope. It was like this. I was literally looking down at what we were going through, and it was a curve. Like it went down, and then it curved slightly this way, and then it wrapped around back this way, like almost 180, 90 degrees. And the brakes, the ABS would not work. They would just lock up. So we were sliding. And then where that gap was, like pretend this is the corner, like going down, we were right here and we were aiming right here, and it's just a straight drop. It's just a straight drop down into a freaking into a ravine or whatever. Or no, into a river. So we would have gotten stuck, but it wouldn't have done any damage. They would just have to come and pull us out. So it wouldn't have been that bad. However, I have gotten a new nickname. My new nickname at work is Batman. And I'm going to tell you why. That's the reason why I posted it saying that call me Batman. So, this afternoon, whole bunch of chaos. We were doing deliveries left and we were doing deliveries right. We were all over the place. So, we were going out to this place, and it's like the richy rich neighborhood of my town. And when you come in, you go over a bridge, and then you take a 90-degree left turn, and then it goes straight, and then it goes up a hill. And then when you get up to the top of this hill, it slightly curves to the left, and then it kind of goes up, it kind of like flattens out, and then it sharp turn right up to the top of the hill. Okay? So you can imagine what happened. We made it up the first portion of the hill, and right when it just started curving, we couldn't make it up. Our wheels were spinning, we were stopped. So he's like, well, shit, we're going to have to put the chains on and then make it up to the rest of the hill. I was like, okay, fine, that's not a problem. We put the chains on this morning, we'll do it again. We get out of the truck, he puts it in park. Now this portion is parked. This portion is important. He puts it in park. Okay? Okay. We open up the back door, and it's one of those roll doors, like FedEx, you just roll it up. Well, we rolled the door up, and as soon as we got on the back tailgate to jump into the truck to get the chains, because that's where they're at, the truck starts to slide backwards. In park, mind you. Backwards. So it's like this. The incline's like this. And the truck is here, and it's sliding down backwards, okay? So, my boss, my supervisor, he's the warehouse lead, is holding onto the mirror like this, and he's holding onto the mirror, and he's just skating down this fucking hill. At first it was slow, so it was like he was going like 2-3 miles, and then it started picking up speed like 5 to 8 miles an hour backwards, and he's holding onto this thing sliding. I'm frozen. I'm just like, what the fuck do I do? Like, what's going on? He slips and falls on his ass and lets go of the mirror, and he's just sitting on the ground. Well, as he's sitting on the ground, the passenger side door is coming right into my view, and I was like, I gotta jump in this truck and fucking stop it. So I open up the passenger side door, open it up, jump inside, close the door, they jump over the middle console over to the driver's side, and as soon as I sat down, I pushed all of my weight on that freaking brake like you would not believe. As I'm doing that, I've got my hand on the steering wheel, kind of like jiggling it a little bit to kind of, keep it straight so I don't go off the road into a cliff. Not even kidding you, a cliff. It's going backwards, and I slid a quarter of a mile. If you can gauge the distance, a quarter of a mile, it slid backwards, and it's picking up speed. I left it in park. I grabbed the e-brake, and I pulled the e-brake, because as soon as this thing catches traction, it's going to pop it out of park and it's going to just keep rolling. So I pull the e-brake. I've got my foot on the brake this whole time. The ABS is going off like you would not believe. And I'm just sliding. By the time the truck stopped, it was halfway on the road and halfway in the grass. Now, the road's like this. Of course, the road's like this. And then there's like, a couple, like a decent amount, maybe like 10, 12 feet of grass. Where I had stopped it, I was, if I had to gauge distance, probably about 6 to 8 feet away from the road going like this to this. Just straight drop. I'm shaking. I'm sitting there, death gripping the freaking steering wheel. I come to a full stop, and I'm just like, holy shit. And I'm just frozen. My boss is already down, and he's down checking on me, making sure everything's okay, making sure the truck's okay. And he's like, hey, put the truck in park, do whatever you got to do. We got to put the chains on this, and we got to get unstuck. And I'm like, dude, I just need a minute, because my anxiety is flaring like you wouldn't believe. I was that close I was that close to the edge. Like I couldn't believe it. So I calm down, get out, put the chains on it. Finally, everybody who has watched all of this transpire is now coming up to offer assistance to pull us out. We don't need pulled out because we're stopped, we're on grass, we're fine. Yeah, that. The guy that we're delivering to pulls up behind us and says, hey, are you guys so-and-so? We're like, yes, we're here to deliver a mattress. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. He's like, dude, just throw the mattress in the back of my truck. I'll take you guys out and we'll get it. So we go out, do the delivery, come back, chains are on the truck, and we finish the delivery. We get back in the truck, and my boss doesn't even want to go into the driver's seat. He's done. He's done for the day. So now I have to get into the driver's seat and try to get this truck back on the road and facing the right direction. So I have my hand on the steering wheel. I have one hand on the e-brake. I've got the button pushed, and I'm just holding it up. I put it in reverse, and I don't even push the gas. I'm just on the brake, and I just let both of the brakes go at once, and I'm feathering it. I'm doing this with the e-brake. I'm pulling it, I'm letting it go, pulling it, letting it go, pulling it, letting it go, and then slowly inching this truck back onto the road. Finally, when I get it back on the road, so this hill is like a good half mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile stretch. We started at the top, quarter mile slid. I was about halfway up this hill. I got it back on the road, and it would not go back into the middle of the road. It was just glued to the ditch. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to take the ditch and slowly go down. As I'm slowly going down the road, I'm about, what would you say, a quarter of the way back down to the bottom. And the truck does this. The front end slides forward into the grass, and it just stops. I thought the truck was going to continue sliding sideways down the hill, which was my worst nightmare ever, because as soon as I catch traction, it's a box truck, one of those flat-nosed, big van box trucks. It would have just toppled over. So I got it to stop, and I'm looking at my boss, and he's giving me the thumbs up saying that I'm doing a good job. So I, put it in drive, kind of push it forward a little bit, and the back end just wants to slide back out in front of it. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. So I put it in reverse, and I'm inching it back, and finally the front nose starts pointing down the hill. I'm like, thank God I could breathe, because this whole time I don't think I breathed at all. I was holding my breath in suspense that I was going to fall off this fucking cliff that was 3 feet away from the driver's side door. I'm looking out the window at this cliff, not helping my anxiety whatsoever freaking ever. Finally, we get the nose pointed down, and I put it in drive, and I let go of the brake, and I kind of start inching it down towards my boss. And my boss starts making his way in front of the truck, in front of the truck, in front of the truck that's currently sliding, jumps into the passenger seat while I'm full lock on the brake, sliding down this hill all the way down to the very bottom where it finally stopped and we could just drive on flat, level, ice rink of a freaking ground. And we get it to where there's a big dry spot, and we're just like, that's it. We're done. Let's take the chains off. That's it. That was my afternoon. Not to mention my deliveries. The people were huge pains in the asses. Um, Before that happened, we went and installed headboard brackets for a motion base, which it's a queen base. The head lifts up, the feet lifts up. It's fancy pantsy bullshit for rich people. We had to go back over to her house to move her bed that far. That far. An inch. A freaking inch towards the wall. An inch. I, and we didn't get tipped. We didn't get tipped for any of our deliveries today. Not a single freaking one. So yeah, that was my story. I told my mom that same story, almost exactly word for word of what I told you guys. And the only part that she was laughing her ass off is when I said when my boss was trying to stop the truck, he had his hand on the mirror because it's one of those like caterpillar mirrors. It it comes out from the bottom and then it wraps around. Then there's the mirror. Then it wraps up to the top, and then you can adjust the mirrors that way. Whatever. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about. It's one of those big Isuzu flat nose box trucks. Um, my mom laughed at the freaking part where he was holding on to it, sliding down the hill. Like after thinking about it, yeah, that was kind of freaking hilarious because just trying to picture my boss pretty much skiing down the mountain, down the hill, trying to stop this gigantic freaking truck from sliding. Just it was hilarious. It was just it was hilarious. It was so funny. Just to think about even now, it's hilarious just to think about. But yeah, that was it. After we got back to the shop, we didn't have time to load anything else, and we are just like, I'm gonna go do calls. You unload the rest of the truck, and that was it. Like that was the day. I literally went outside, clocked out from work, went outside, had a cigarette. I know I quit. I quit smoking, but I have some in backup just in case. Today was one of those days, okay? Twice. Almost perished twice. So I smoked a cigarette, listened to some music, chilled out for a little bit, went home, made me a fat freaking drink, and started live streaming. Oh yeah, it was terrible. It was simply terrible. But for anybody who did miss the story, I will be posting this recording on YouTube, so you guys can go over there and watch it and listen to my story. It would be a whole lot better if I could show you pictures and like where the angle and how everything went, but it was a nightmare. Like my anxiety was through the roof. I wanted to go home. So yeah, that's the end of my story. Thank you all so much for listening. Oh, make sure you go down to, if you are watching this on YouTube right now, be sure to go down to um, uh, go to twitch.tv/Shaggy McBones and come watch me live stream. If you are watching this on the YouTube, I stream every night, 6:30, every night from 6:30 ish Mountain Time till 10 o'clock. Play different games. You should come chill out, jam out, listen to some music, listen to some crazy stories, and listen to me rant and rave about stupid stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.